Hello again, Steve here with a few thoughts on claims. This is a topic I have some interest in, and it's related actually to I talked about a few days ago, that book by Byron Katie, Loving What Is. The reason I say it relates to that is because in there she talks a lot about how, darn, I got that vent going again, background noise. She talks a lot about asking questions rather than making assertions. Asking questions, are you sure that's true, and so on. I think that's a really good idea because so often we make assertions, but there's a lot of falsehoods in them, or potential falsehoods, and they're kind of blanketing statements. I just wrote down a couple of things. And of course, a claim, what I mean by a claim is, I just looked it up so I'm not off track here. State or assert something is the case, typically without providing evidence or proof. So often we'll say something and then we just carry on as though it's the case, whereas it might not be. I just wrote down a couple of things. Like, for example, God is blah, 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 blah. I mean, first of all, God is a subjective experience, so to even bother saying anything like that to anybody else, really not a lot of value, because, well, it's like my dream is, it's subjective at best, and we can't really prove it to the other one, right? Maybe able to prove it to ourselves, we can't prove it to anybody else, because we can't say, oh, that's God over there, The country is, well, it's once again a subjective thing, and we can't prove it to anybody, really fundamentally. I mean, that might sound strange, but in a bit of a discussion, and I'll probably want to do a little more on that later, you'd see what I mean. In other words, it's somebody's ideas, right? Somebody drew it up, or a bunch of people did, and they constructed a constitution and what have you. But it doesn't exist like the planet exists. That's what I mean, yeah. We are winning. I hear this, sometimes, where, somebody's national sports team or their state or provincial sports team or whatever is winning. So, they're sitting on the couch with a beer, but they're winning, right? It's an assertion without any sort of evidence, because what part are you playing in it? Or what part am I playing in it, or whoever's talking? The kids need whatever they need. Parents, we tend to do this at times. It's just blanket statements about the kids, and it's kind of insulting in a way, I guess, to the kids. Here I do it again. It's insulting in a way because it's asserting something, but it's lumping them all into the same category. So, bottom line, I think it's a good idea to ask more questions than make assertions, unless the assertions are actually can be backed up by some sort of evidence. Probably just, in terms of, it's almost like mental house cleaning in a way, right? If we can get away from all the superfluous stuff that we don't have any evidence for, but nevertheless takes up a lot of our mental energy, and rather chisel down to things that we can prove, and for the rest of the stuff, just ask clarifying questions, because lots of people who do have information, or it's a way of rebutting some of the nonsense we run into in ourselves and in others. What I've noticed a lot of times, especially from official types, is they don't like questions because they got no answers. Everything is claims. That's all it is, just assertions with a lot of it, and I shouldn't say all of it, but a lot of it, especially authority type figures, a lot of it is assertions without evidence and proof. So asking for the evidence and proof is kind of fun, because I'd like to see, if you want to see people squirm, and it just indicates how baseless so much of what people think as real actually is. Once again, improving the quality of our life experience. Well, it helps us, I think, with our being aware of claims, our tendency to make claims, which are baseless, is an exercise in awareness, in the clarity of what we're speaking. When we can become aware of it first, we can then endeavor to rid ourselves of that waste of energy that we participate in, and rather operate on a more constructive basis of putting forth ideas that we can actually prove, and then for the rest of it just asking questions and listening to answers. I think this is a great use of our mental faculty, and any great use of a faculty will make the faculty more useful and stronger. It's like, imagine if we put our physical body to great use in terms of physical activity, we become stronger, more flexible, more able to do what we want to do with the body, and so on. I think it's the same with the mental faculty. The more we exercise it in a more simple and constructive manner, constructive meaning we're dealing with more of a reality-based use of it, then surely our quality of life, based on our satisfaction, if nothing else, is going to be that much greater. Steve here again. I'll sign off for now. It's well after midnight, and I'm going to get to bed. It's been a great chat, though. Talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.